Netflix has recently launched a new web series called The Last of Us, based on the video game that was released in 2013. And let me tell you, the series is absolutely fantastic. So as a game developer, I thought that if Netflix can do it, then I can't. Alright, I admitted that was a pretty bad pun. But anyways, I have made up my mind to create my own version of Last of Us game, and I am going to do that within 4 days. Why? Because I like to suffer. Now let's face it, creating The Last of Us in 4 days is merely an impossible task for mere mortals. So instead of attempting the impossible, I have decided to take a shortcut. I will try to replicate one of the best scenes from the game, the intense zombie horde encounter where Joel and his allies were about to exit the sewers. To kick things off, I fired up the Unity and imported a bean into the mix. I was all set to start coding the third-person character from the scratch, but then I had a light bulb moment. Unity actually provides a starter asset tailored for the third-person game. So I imported that asset and boom! Now I have a fully functional third-person character who can walk, run and jump around. Next up, I wanted a 3D model of Joel, but I'm not very good at making models, and by not good, I mean I'm shit at modeling. So I snagged a character from Sketchfab. After that, it was just a matter of replacing our model's armature with the robot armature, assigning some animator properties, and voila! Joel was up and running in my scene. Then comes the part of game development that usually puts me to the sleep, the level designing. Armed with a bunch of assets, I started crafting the scene. Given that I was recreating an existing level, I had a pretty good idea of the look I was aiming for. So after strategically placing various elements around my level, my design was good to go.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
Then it was time to tackle some shooting mechanics. The third-person character from Unity assets did not come with a pre-built shooting mechanics, so I went old school and used raycasting method. I downloaded the 3D model of pistol, gave it to Joel, imported some shooting animations, added some flashlights, some muzzle effect, and a bit of camera shake to make it more realistic. I even dabbled in the animation rigging to ensure that the player's gun is always pointed towards the target. I must admit, animation rigging was a new thing for me, although it was a bit of learning curve, but it took more time than I have anticipated. With the shooting mechanics squared away, I introduced the zombies to the party. I imported some zombie models, some animation from Mixamo, and created a simple script to toggle between the ragdoll physics and animation for the zombies. And now I have a full-fledged working zombie in my game. Wait, why are you twerking? Wait, is it only me or this reminds you of someone? Mom, can I have a Noora Fateh in my house? Mom, you already have a Noora Fateh in your house. Noora Fateh in my house. Moving on, I decided to spice things up with some throwable items. In Last of Us, we had Molotov cocktails, smoke bombs, and whatever this is. Let's just call it Emma Watson, because she's a bomb. Designing the projectile motion for these items was the most trickiest part. These were the equations that I supposed to use, but I just couldn't figure it around, because I am a dumb piece of shit. At a point I felt like these equations were mocking me and saying,
"And now I have become death."
So I took a different approach. I used a cube and a simple parabolic equation to direct the throwing object. We can then control the cube's movement that will result in the change in the shape of parabola. It might not have been the perfect solution, but hey, it gets the job done, and remember, I was on a 4-day deadline. With my projectile visuals in place, I created two types of bomb. The Molotov, which explodes on impact and spews flames for a while, and if any zombie caught in the blaze, they will start burning, exactly the same way as I do whenever I see Emma Watson making out with someone. As for the pipe bomb, it acts like a time bomb. After throwing it, it will wait for some time and then blast. It then checks all the nearby zombies, applies a force to them, and sends them in a ragdoll mode. With most of the mechanics sorted, I decided to add some UI and a touch of post-processing magic. You see, girls without makeup and girls with makeup.
Wow!
As the famous saying, a zombie game is not a zombie game without a zombie horde. So I created a simple spawner script that keeps an eye on the zombie count. If it drops below a certain level, it's time to bring in some fresh zombie recruits. And voila, my game is completed within 4 days.
Wow!
Now enjoy the final gameplay that showcased the intensity of my final game. So that was my version of Last of Us that I have created in 4 days, but let's be clear. Copying a game is way easier than making an original game, and also this creation of mine is nowhere near the league of Last of Us. It's more like a quirky prototype than a full-fledged game. Also, the game that I have created will not be available anywhere to download because of several reasons. Main one was out of respect for the actual creators of Last of Us. I can bet they don't want any random idiot to create a garbage clone of their game. The second reason is they will probably sue the f out of me. Now that I think about it, I think the second reason is the main reason. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video, smash like if you do and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Also write in comments what next game should I make on. I was thinking of experimenting with either a horror Android game like Pacify or something, or a Contra but in 3D with some good graphics. If you have any other better idea, do let me know. And yeah, I guess that's all about this video.